younger generation, so many fresh takes on things. I get a lot of inspiration from my children, just simple things they say or simple things they use or different ways to think. So AI, it's not kind of hindering their thinking. I think it's growing in a different way that maybe myself or an older generation looks at and goes, they're not thinking for themselves. They are thinking for themselves. I think they're just thinking in a different way. And I think it will blow our minds what they come up with.
Welcome to Space by Stansons podcast. We've actually not done this sort of one before, this episode. We are in the thick of CDW, so everything's happening out there on the streets, all the vibes are happening. Clerkenwell Design Week's in full swing. And I've got Tracy Drury with me, Head of Innovation at Stansons, and like just fresh off the streets, fresh off all the exhibits, she's like got all the leading trends and everything. I'm going to pick her brains and just see like what's coming down the track, what we're going to experience for next year, any disruption, like just get her angle on it all. So I'm really excited, like it's really in the thick of it. There might be stuff happening. We're actually in our studio in Pear Tree Street, and out there people are all getting ready for all the design community coming through for our denim drop. So there's quite a vibe, it's quite rushed, it's just on the fly. So bear with us, listen in, and obviously anything you like, you want to see, any questions you got, then just drop them in. We will always be responding back. And one thing we've learned over CDW is a lot of you guys are listening and finding inspiration from this. So thank you and welcome, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, you're very welcome. It's nice to, just in the rush, just pause.
Yeah. No, yesterday was busy. Yeah. Clerkenwell, sunny day. It was nice.
Yeah.
I went around to the Old Street, kind of Old Sessions House.
Oh, love.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
There was lovely textures.
Yeah.
Came across a rug company.
Oh.
Recycle wool, nice patterns.
Yeah.
What else did I come across? Just loads of different shapes in there. Kind of furniture companies, very angled and arches, kind of bulbous furniture, circular furniture.
What's bulbous mean?
Bulbous means like a big ball.
Oh, I see.
like blowing bubbles. Bulbous.
I see.
I think it's a word. I'm not sure if I made it up.
No. I'm sure it is a word. We'll go with it anyway. If it's not, we'll start trending. We'll attribute it to you.
I've that word. I don't think I have, but it's a word. Very circular round furniture in there. And then I went through the church around the corner.
Oh, St. John's. Yeah.
I'm terrible with the names. So it's the English kind of furniture. Went in there. And there was a guy called Matthew Hurt, I'm sure his name was. And his furniture was all wood, which is my heaven. Very kind of natural shapes. He made loads of these kind of pebbles, kind of out of wood, very soft shapes, but he did lots of them. So he did them all over a wall. Yeah. So you can envisage it in a ceiling, say. He did actually a 3D image of it. All the pebbles was hanging from the ceiling, kind of undulating as you.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah, and that was quite impressive. But he also did these textured kind of walls. You probably have seen them in PET.
Yeah.
Kind of like waves coming out of the wall.
Oh yeah.
But it was all made from wood.
Oh, nice.
It was stunning, just handmade craftsmanship.
So like a take on timber slats, but a lot more sexy.
Oh, completely. I just felt that.
It's a bit of an insult.
I was kind of molesting the walls, just standing there touching it. And then, what else was there? There was a beautiful corner sofa, and that was really sustainable. So the lovely lady taught me through it, and the inside of the sofa is made of coconut instead of foam. Oh. So coconut hairs made into kind of like a foamy base kind of texture. Mm-hmm. And then they made a kind of a wool liner that was naturally F4 rated. So there was no treatment needed. And it meets like crib 5. So it was like beautiful furniture. That is just no treatment, no kind of POCs. It was very, and it's completely recyclable at the end of it. So I thought it was beautiful.
It's amazing. I was on a panel yesterday about neurodiversity, and we were talking about neurodiversity, strangely. And interesting you say about these bubble shaped, because apparently some like types of neurodiversity really react negatively
Oh, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
to anything that looks like a bubble.
Oh.
Like or bubbles or things that resemble a bubble can really like trigger some minds, which is
Didn't know that.
just really, and I didn't know that either. Complete learning
Why?
curve. So I was like, it's
Is
just,
that question like why? Like, is there a reason?
I guess it's just a bit like light, and some people can hear electricity, can't they? And some people just feel uncomfortable around bubbles.
Ah.
Maybe they need a toilet. I don't know.
Why?
I don't know what it.
I love bubbles. Yeah, it brings me back to childhood, but yeah, it's just different for everyone, and that's the thing you need to think about is it suitable for everyone? And it's hard to pick something that's suitable for everyone, but you have to consider it. You have to consider it.
And I think the outcome that we're all learning in like today's like really varied workspace and everything is it's not about like not using them, but it's about having another space where maybe everything's very square, so you can like so the people that don't like bubbles can go to there, and some people that like you can go to the bubble desks.
Yeah.
So it's just about having variety, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
But no, it's interesting to hear that. Is there anything out there that's really disrupting design? I feel like we see quite a lot of same old, and like just takes on and that sort of thing. But is anything really like disrupting, changing?
Nothing really slapped me in the face. It was nothing like, oh wow, this is new and innovative. There was a few small little things that I kind of seen. Just AI is one massive thing that's changing everything. And it's not new because it's 3D printing. I was talking to a chap and just the way he described his company, it was the fact that they could print on order. So there's no waste. So there's no kind of stock sitting there, the shipments, the carriage, just the whole space taken up by storing stock. So it was quite nice to hear that kind of side of things. But that's not new, but it's a new kind of...
A new take
on things. This is probably something I'd never use as well. There was, it was in the crypt. Mm-hmm. And there was like these kind of screens surrounding the room. And as you walked up to it, the patterns changed. Oh. So they had these sensors up in the ceiling, which kind of, fed off your body heat. And as you walked in, the patterns were on big screens and it was quite, fluorescent. So in some ways, I think that could be quite like jarring to some people. I don't think I could have that in my face all the time, but it was just interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
So how do you see AI? I mean, what's it doing? And I mean, we're all using it now every day, but how are you seeing it change like furniture or like design?
Design-wise, you can use it, you could rely on it too much, and it can take away your humanity and the kind of natural, human-centered kind of take on it. Or you could use it as your assistant and your friend. Friend is felt wrong because it's AI. You're a helping tool.
Yeah.
So if you put, I've used it recently. I put a sketch in, and I describe what I want, the materials, the feeling, the situation I wanted it in. You have to give as much information as possible, and it gives you can ask it for a 3D render, and it gives you a 3D render. Every result I got wasn't what I had in my head, but it did kind of maybe go, oh, I didn't think of that, or I haven't thought of that looking like that, or it just kind of it helps you along. It's like having different minds in the room, which is really sad because you want other people to kind of help you collaborate as well. It's kind of taking over that if you're working by yourself.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I remember one panel talk we've had, they spoke about that design process and the AI like almost helping with that brainstorming, which is kind of what you're
instead of going like
about.
It's exactly what he said. It was like instead of going like this, AI helps you go up and down, you kind of get ideas that you don't even think of because it's taking the information from around the world and finding the information you're asking for, giving it to you straight away. Yeah.
But then on the other side of the coin, I like personally had a design in mind for a feature in my personal property.
Yes.
And I literally drew it all out and all the measurements on it and everything. And I put it I was actually just ChatGPT. It's like, can you do a drawing that I can send to my builder, like, and just couldn't do it. Like, it just kept doing it like wrong, but I knew exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so then I had to call on you and be like, hey, can you draw this for me?
I think that AI will be an assistant tool. It will never take over. But I'll take over the kind of jobs that take so much time, that can be done easily. But the rest of the research, the human connection, the conversations, it will never take over that. I don't ever think.
No, that's interesting. It's good to see that that's it's being utilised, I guess.
Yeah, my
right
friend
way.
used it. Amazing. She came and said, my front. She couldn't figure out the front of her house. She couldn't figure out how she wanted to look. She popped it in. It gave her a garden in the front room. Gave her a list of plants. Gave her a list of where to go and get it.
What?
Yeah, it just was like stuff. I'm not a gardener, so that would be really helpful for me.
Yeah, because I've just paid a designer to do that for me.
Yes. Yes, sorry.
But then again,
Won't go into that detail.
So no, but back to that point, is it still is missing that human, like the orientation of the property or that human connection. It's a good like first step. But
it's not at the stage where it considers, I don't know, light. You know, the movement, your journey in, your feeling as you're walking through it. It doesn't. I don't think it's at that stage yet.
No. Any ideas that you'd steal or you wish you had thought of out there?
I don't know if I'd, when I say steal, I think I'd borrow this one, as in take a little bit of it. And I don't like stealing. I just, even Pinterest and stuff like that, it just doesn't feel right taking someone else's ideas. It's just like you have to kind of go on a journey, find the narrative, find something that inspires you, take it and then grow something.
I love how you work like that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I love the journey. I just love that kind of gratifying kind of feeling that you get from creating something out of a nice, small little idea.
Yeah.
But there was a couple in the crypt again. I spent a lot of time in the crypt. It was like a light. No, it was a big light. It was about this size. It was like red tubes, all kind of gathered together. And the reason I was drawn to it, because it was in a corner, was because it stood out. It was just that on its own. And she said it was made from, they took inspiration from old traditional toy making.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, so it's like tiny little tubes and they were all piled on top of each other. And how they did it was they get colourings from the earth and they mix it, so every colouring is natural. So if you, I don't know, beetroot and leaves and gravel, they mix it in with beeswax. They make these kind of like, it's like toffee, you know, when you use toffee. And then they put the piece of wood on a lathe, spin it, and then they just add that to the spin. So the colour is like friction into the wood. So there's no like VOCs, you're not using a lacquer, but it comes out like a shiny, like bright colour, which I thought was a really interesting way of
staining wood.
Staining wood into different amazing colours, but all very naturally.
Incredible. That actually does, like, I was going to ask you this as well about colour, and it kind of leads on to that really, but we've seen, like, even just in, like, within Stansons, seen quite an evolution of, like, how colour's been used, like, over time. And I don't know, I feel like people are layering textures a lot more earthy colours, like you, like, kind of mentioned, like, beetroots and stuff. All of those, like, nice colours, but in, like, earthy tones are so, like, lovely and calming. What do you see? What colours did you see out there? Like, what do you think is going to take storm next year?
I think the beetroot colour.
Really?
And I was adverse to reds. Reds just never sit with me. But the deeper kind of rusty reds is lovely. Yeah. And it's not that it's everywhere, but you can see it's more getting like a more dominant kind of place in interiors. So yeah, I've seen that quite a lot. And then kind of a deep green. Forest green, yeah. So yeah. But that was out last year. It's not new, but it's just more dominant, I think.
Yeah, what about that kind of honey turmeric colour? Is that still around?
That again is it? That's around as well. Probably again a bit more. That was one of the colours, the natural colours that was in the beeswax kind of.
Yeah.
So it's beeswax, the greens around, yeah. Anything from the earth, I really think.
I always think like those like lovely like turmerics and like sort of paprika colour, all of those that look like spice racks.
Yeah.
They literally make me so happy. I just think of having a curry.
Yeah. But you can feel the heat of them. You can feel it's not just a kind of a visual thing. It's a kind of a sensory thing. You can feel, you know, the story behind it and everything. That sounds a bit kind of...
I know, but I do think there's a certain energy in those colours.
Yeah,
there's
energy is the word I was looking for. Yeah, definitely.
There is a certain kind of feeling, like you said, but like AI misses sort of thing, like that kind
Misses
of...
it, yeah. Yeah.
Is sustainability, this cropped up as well yesterday, is sustainability just literally becoming a bit of a tip box joke? And sort of neurodiversity is the next sort of trend, if you like. Are you seeing people still talk about sustainability? Does it seem to matter?
Yeah, I think it's totally, it totally matters. I don't think it's a trend. I think it's people are becoming more knowledgeable about it. I'm one of them. I'm not an expert in any way. Just trying to learn all the time, learning from other suppliers, seeing what they're doing. Oh, that's amazing. Let's try that. Let's look into that. Why aren't we doing that? And then you do get the people who just say, you know, sustainable. There was a lot of the word sustainable was out there a lot yesterday. And if you investigate more, you're understanding why it is sustainable. And every company, I don't think, is trying to pull the wool over everyone's eyes. I think they're just trying their best to be on the journey. And it's not very easy for companies to do that. They just take the small steps and move towards it. But greenwashing is a thing. I think transparency is the main thing.
Yeah.
And we're trying to be sustainable. We're trying this now, and we're working towards that. But it's definitely not a trend. Yeah.
What are some of the things that people are doing to be more sustainable that you saw like yesterday?
Again, I probably already mentioned it. The upholstery people.
Yeah.
Changing out the foam for completely natural things. The colouring for wood. Rather than using kind of lacquers and oils, natural ingredients. The recyclable afterwards, so the full life circle, that was a conversation. What do you do with the products afterwards? Take back schemes.
It's a much bigger thing.
Yeah. Oh, there was a lovely story about bricks. Nothing to do with what we do at all. But I was fascinated by it.
Okay, it's inspired by anyway, can't you?
Yeah, oh, totally. There was two kind of installations just parked outside. What's the pub in the corner near Old Sessions House? It's in front of Old Sessions House anyway.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah. Green something. Yeah. Probably Clarkmore Green.
We don't drink, so you can tell me. But the two artists were there, and I was fascinated by them. Just mainly as well because they were just standing there, very simple, very beautiful. And the chap talked to me and he was so full of knowledge. I was trying to understand it. So one side was kind of made from stone bricks and the other side was made from kind of, I believe he said clay. I might be wrong, but the standard kind of brick. So the stone brick was what he was trying to, not advertise, but showcase. For me, it looked very porous, but he was like, no, that's a natural stone. It lasts longer. The carbon is a lot lower. It's kind of mined in Dorset. It was all these things he was saying. It's just sustainably wise, it would last hundreds of years. And the fact that it's made from stone, not gone through such a process with clays, bricks are made with the heat. It was just, that was very interesting.
Yeah, heat is a big thing, and says me who knows nothing, but...
Yeah, well, massively, PET is the process that goes through to make that, the heat. It depends on the colour, it depends on the recyclable content, it depends on the thickness. So that's a massive, heat to make things is huge.
Did you get to any talks, or...
No.
Are you trying to get to...
I'm trying to get one probably this evening. I didn't make any yesterday. No, I didn't make yours. I'm very sorry.
No. Just don't need to be. No, it's interesting. That's cool. It's good. It's good to hear it all just like fresh. Coming into like what you're doing, I mean, obviously innovating new materials, new products and things like that. Is there anything that you're sort of thing you might do differently as of yesterday? Is it just fresh takes on things? Is it?
I would love to, you have this ideal in your head, what you'd like to do. Like
I'd love to hear a big ideal.
I would like to make everything from scratch. I would like to use like local craftsmen. I would like to use everything that kind of the old toy inspiration that clicks in. That is no glue, no nails, you know, just beautiful to touch, beautiful to feel. But in a manufacturing world, that is just, I don't think that's possible. Not that's not possible. To do it on a big scale, it's not feasible. So I'd like to find a middle road. Just a middle road, just kind of, that kind of suits manufacturing, ease, time, as in this world, everyone wants things yesterday.
Yeah.
Resources, the wood, the craftsmanship, the price. Once you say craftsmanship, price just goes like sky high.
Yeah.
So I would love to be able to find something that kind of ticks all the boxes and still, you know,
Design something
beautiful and sustainable and the earth loves.
Earth loves, pocket loves, delivery times.
Big,
Maybe 3D printing.
yeah, 3D printing. That's it. They do a lot of 3D printing with sustainable filament. I can't say that word because that sounds really Irish. Filament.
I think
Filament.
I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Quite interested to hear about like the use of coconut in the seats, because I know that the foam is super unsustainable and the fabric, however sustainable. Here I am squishing this chair seat as if like everyone can totally see me, but I'll carry on squishing it because it feels good. And then like this like fabric is kind of like stitched to it or stapled into it, and so however, like it's brilliant, like this is all made of recycled bottles saving thousands of turtles, but it's bonded like pretty much
they sometimes spray glue it like
to this upholstery foam which isn't sustainable, and then like the take apart of that, or whatever, I'm sure there's a better word for that, but detaching the two so you can then recycle the fabric and not recycle the foam. It's just not going to happen.
No, but then the old traditions of it, sometimes they do last, and that's another way of being sustainable. Like the sofa I have at home, I bought secondhand from, I think it was about £100, and I've had it a couple of years now. It does need to be recovered, refilled. The frame is a good frame, and it's made with like staples, and it's made the old-fashioned way. So I don't know, recycling that, I don't know how well that would fare, but because I'm keeping it, that's another way of being sustainable.
Yeah, no, that's true. We went for a little stage of seeing like lighting integrated into like nearly everything. Kept seeing lights in like LED strips. Is that still a thing, or are people?
Yeah, I think definitely. I've seen a lot of that in acoustics.
Okay.
There's a lot of acoustics lights, which were very nice. In kind of timber slatted walls.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of making patterns. Yeah, it's in furniture as well, kind of highlighting certain bits. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I don't know if I'm in like everyday furniture. I don't know if if it's necessary. Maybe it's overdone. But on the walls in PT, that was quite nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Lots of PET out there actually.
Tons.
Loads.
Yeah, tons.
And do you think there's a bigger movement towards like European brands like coming through?
Yeah, of course.
You're saying that?
Yeah, I spoke to a couple of suppliers yesterday and asked them where they were getting from. So Spain and Italy, Poland, and like China's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just so far.
Yeah.
So, and if we've got the resources to do it closer to home, why wouldn't you? It just makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same. Like China is just so far, the amount of offsetting just for the transport. And then goes back to your point that people want things yesterday. So if you're going to either have to stock a lot and maybe heat and light a warehouse and that's all energy.
Everything,
Or you sort of call it off and then you've got the lead time. So it's really hard to juggle sustainability with price, with logistics. But Europe is a bit...
I don't ever think there's an end goal with sense. I know everyone has an end goal with sustainability, but I don't think you'll ever get to it. It's like the word perfect. It's not, it's, what is it? You know what I mean? How do you get to it? Who says that's the end? It's a constant kind of learning journey. And the journey is words that you use a lot, but that's what it is. It's kind of...
It is.
Yeah.
It is a journey and it does keep like evolving,
and
doesn't
changing
it?
and learning more new things and
Yeah. And I think like where we were to 20 years ago is a lot more awareness, it's a lot more mainstream, but then in 20 years time when our kids are designing things, they'll laugh at what we did. Like, oh my goodness, I used to think that's good.
That's happening to me now. Everything I do, my kids just laugh at me. You're so old, Mommy.
Just because they're teenagers.
No, pre-teens, not even teenagers yet.
Oh no, that's good. Trying to think what other questions I had. There was loads of things that were coming to my mind yesterday. I was like, I want to ask Tracy about this tomorrow. I know the audience will want to know. Do you see much with that was something I wanted to ask about, because I am hearing it quite a bit about like junior designs and making space and way for junior designs. They're almost getting quite junior designers or like startups and like that new thinking is almost, I'm hearing it's almost quite stifled because of AI. So almost taking like the admin jobs of junior designers and like startups not being able to necessarily compete with like the large brands in terms of like EPDs or like sustainable tracking. Is there space made for those over CDW? Like over Clerkenwell Design Week, are you seeing the promotion of like startups and junior designers' works or students' work? Let's put it that way.
Let me think. I didn't see little students' work so much, no, going around. There was a few startups. It was a tile company. I'm going to tell the story anyway. And they were doing kind of Moroccan tiles. And they were taking the leftover kind of waste, putting it back into a tile.
Oh, from the offcuts.
Offcuts, taking it and placing it, and either polishing it or not polishing and celebrating the kind of...
Can you take me to them?
Yes, it was really... I've got a booklet of this. I'll show you. That was quite nice. But I'm not sure if it was an older company, but it was a new way of doing it. And it was stunning. So that's kind of a startup. I know. Do you hear not so much in CDW, and maybe I've missed it, so correct me if I'm wrong. But there is like shows. We have gone to the New Designers show. That's quite nice. That's quite a showcase for...
Wait, where is that, sorry?
That's in Angel.
Okay. A workspace design show?
No.
Surface design show?
It's called New Designers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's for younger, I say now, young adults coming out of university, showcase their products. So there is kind of platforms for them. I definitely think learning from the younger generation is the best way to go forward.
Learning from the
younger generation. They have so many fresh takes on things. Like I get a lot of inspiration. This is talking about my children again. I get a lot of inspiration from my children. Just simple things they say or simple things they use or different ways they think. So, AI, it's not kind of hindering their thinking. I think it's growing in a different way that maybe myself or an older generation looks at and goes, oh, they're not thinking for themselves. They are thinking for themselves. I think they're just thinking in a different way. And I think it will blow our minds what they come up with.
Yeah. No, it's just this like common, like kind of almost like joke, if you like, where people, they need like sort of 5 years experience, but they sort of want them to be a junior designer on a junior salary or something like that, or students, and they're not necessarily given space to actually kind of to try something new and
That is hard.
to believe in them. And I feel like I'm really with you. I really feel that these startups and these students and these junior designers, whilst they might not have experience in our industry exactly, we need to actually see that as a good thing, because everything we've done for years, because that's why we're doing it. It's like
it's an old kind of let me try to say, it's an old kind of like cruise ship. We're an old cruise ship. It's hard to turn. They're a new boat, small. They can turn on quite quickly. Or they can think quick and they can change quickly. Where we've got so many kind of rules and regulations and kind of ways of thinking. Not a bad thing, but it's just different and it's fresh.
Yeah.
And those two together is just, so the different generations, I think, working together is really good.
Yeah. I definitely quite sort of an advocate for that, just personally, that I think we need to almost embrace that they haven't got any experience. Don't get people with experience, and then they will challenge what you think and empower them to do that, and like give them a platform to do that. So
that is so, because you hear it so many times, like even the architectural students come out and they've done like 7 years of university, and it's so hard for them to get a job because they've got no experience, but they have all this education and all this knowledge. It has to be worth getting, I'm sure they do eventually, but it's quite difficult, I've heard.
Really difficult. Even startups getting out there from like a compliance perspective and stuff like that, they can have the most beautiful stories and sustainable and learning from like ancestral wisdom, but then again, like to applying it in a modern world, and like a really great thing is coming, but they're kind of hidden or drowned out with the noise of large brands, where if you have to pay for CDW, you don't get paid, you don't charge any less because you're a small brand or a big brand. And it's like kind of, I feel sorry for those like startup people like that, and like to kind of promote them.
Yes, maybe like if they should take it as, I don't know, when this is probably a very bad top, but when you build a housing estate and you have a certain amount of houses that are like, 4-bedroom houses, then you have to have a certain amount of houses that are like, affordable.
Yeah.
That kind of thought should probably blanket over different kind of, what am I trying to say? Different kind of ideals. So like big companies, not that they should be charged more, but there should be a set kind of charge, and then smaller companies or startups, like, from younger companies, should be charged a little bit less maybe. Is that fair? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just gives them a leg up, I think.
Yeah. I think it could be that maybe something around the charging along being varied, dependent on the age of the company or the turnover of the company or something like that. But also that, I love that idea about the housing, that if you've got 50% of your showrooms within X turnover, you have to create like an exhibitions pop-up space for X percent of this volume of space or something like that. I think it would be nice.
I really like that, yeah.
I think Clark and Well Design Week, if you're listening to this, and I think any other show, exhibition, London Design Festival, all of it, I think we could actually like designate an area and like make a
showcase space for them.
Yeah, like a little like, hey, we're new here, but we can break how you think traditionally. Like as long as it's messaged nicely.
I think Material Matters. They do that. They do. They have a few startups I've seen. I don't know the cost of what they do, but I've seen a lot of new kind of materials coming through that way. There was a girl when I first walked in, and she'd her and her partner ground to literally dumps and gather leftover pieces and make art installations. And she was entrance of Material Matters last year, and that's what she did. And that was a startup business.
Oh, brilliant! That's so amazing.
And they were like quite enormous installations, so they're good for like commercial projects. So that was a good kind of platform to kind of showcase her startup.
It's nice to see that and hear that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you see, I have got another question for you. Did you see, which is a bit of a curveball because I didn't tell you I was going to ask this, but did you see anything about this, I can't even say the word now, like disabled access, like accessibility. Yeah. And supporting that?
No. I don't know how how the particular products would showcase that. Yeah, I'm trying to think what I've seen. When I worked in the bathroom industry, that was always a place for it, because you had accessible bathrooms. Mm-mm. Is that what you're talking about? The accessibility kind of for every mobility.
Yeah.
But like the likes of wall finishes as well, materials, furniture. No, I didn't see a lot.
No, interesting.
That's the answer.
No, well, that's great.
Sorry, I was just thinking through what I've seen.
I know you can get booths that don't have like the threshold, so that it's easy for a wheelchair.
Yeah, in that way. No, like if the whole setup that was accessible, I think there was a lot of ramps into the.
Yeah.
But there was a few that you couldn't. I tripped up a couple of steps. Obviously, Old Session House.
Yeah.
That's not accessible. But the pop-up ones, they all had ramps. Yeah, in that way it was accessible.
Yeah.
But the product itself, there was nothing, I think, showcasing that way.
Yeah. Interesting. I just wonder if that's going to become a bit more of a thing too. If we're trying to get people into the office.
It should be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason that triggered a thought off in my head was like yesterday I was thinking about it a bit, because I'm really sorry, Louis, I can't remember your surname, but Louis, somebody who is a wheelchair user, can't actually come to CDW this year. Oh. Because of like the journey, and then also not being able to actually plan like how much he will be able to get to, because
it's the church itself.
And it's also, I think for him it was and Louis, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think for him it was, there's actually the unknown. So like our showroom, we don't have to, it is accessible, but we don't have to like put in a little like tick box whether it's wheelchair accessible or like anything like that. So when someone's, or like maybe we've got hearing aid like loops or whatever we have or haven't got, so when someone with like a disability is like looking through the map or looking through the app or whatever, choosing, oh, okay, I'd love to go there. Oh, and I can get in, good. Or, oh no, I can't get in, so I'd love to go to that, and then make the decision whether to come or not, if you like. Mm-hmm. But that it's really, really simple, but that kind of thought process to the actual Clerkenwell Design Week, and then also to our offices. So for a large office, like, hey, we've got these rooms, and it's like signposted and visually, so someone doesn't have to ask or second guess or maybe worry.
Yeah, I love that.
Like that we can actually just provide that, because it would be kind of a lot of work or maybe humiliating to have to ask or something like that, but actually kind of offer that information. I think that's something that maybe we could do.
Massively on board with that. Yeah, I think that's such a great idea. I actually, I'm kind of sad to say I didn't think into it that much.
No.
Which is sad, kind of.
I think that's why we just want to talk about it, isn't it? Because I wouldn't have thought into it. It was only, like I say, Louis' comment that like opened my eyes to it. I thought, oh gosh, like not actually everyone can get in that even wants to.
I'm going to research that, more inclusivity, just kind of, you didn't, like, obviously my journey is different, so I don't think about it.
Of course.
But the minute you mentioned it, it was like, oh yeah, that must be really difficult, because like the church, the crypt, Old Session House, they're all kind of not accessible.
No.
Yeah.
So we just need to think about that. And then also, like, there was I'm really sorry as well, I can't remember your name, but someone also did this, like, I literally thought, like, straight off, hats off to her. But instead of her, like, based off the comments, everything, she, like you and I, just does her commute normally, like takes all the escalators and that sort of thing. She thought she's going to take like a disabled access route
Okay.
for the day, and like she videos it, and she's like how much harder it was, like so much unknowns, like get to the lift, it wasn't working, what do? Have to find someone, have to go down this way, have to do like the amount of unknowns, it's phenomenal. I can only like glimmer a picture, like a slight tiny sliver of how hard it must be, because when I come out with my kid and I have to take a buggy but even that I just carry it down the escalators because I can't bother to find a way. But
it does give you another restriction.
It does give you just another restriction. So she actually did the whole walk, and I haven't done it yet, and I do plan to do it, but like literally encourage everybody just to don't just think about it, actually do your commute as if you are a wheelchair user or if you're a blind person, and like what that difference would look like, or hearing or something like that.
That's a really good research.
It's just it's very eye-opening. Excuse the pun. But I think it's something we could all just be like slightly more thoughtful and
totally
make a big difference. But it's the world is evolving, we're becoming more inclusive, we're understanding different people and other people have got voices, which is...
Well, platforms like this is great because these conversations happen, and then like I didn't obviously think about inclusivity, so now it's a thought in my mind. So it's great that we can share it.
That's what it's all about, really, isn't it? And Tracy, before you go, is there a book you're reading, a podcast you're listening to that you just think like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant, and it's like, I want to share it?
So many books. Eyes of the Skin is what I'm reading at the moment.
Eyes of the Skin. Okay.
And it's a recommendation. I am slowly reading it because I have to kind of stop and kind of Google a lot of things, because there's a lot of references to other kind of theories that I don't understand. But it's challenging me and I love it. And it's eye-opening for senses. It's all about how our visual sense is the main sense that everyone relies on and kind of goes to. And it's about opening yourself to other senses and kind of, exploring that. So really recommend that one. Podcast, I'm listening to, it's kind of, I forget his name, something Rubin. He's having a conversation with, I have to get the name for you, and then you could put it on the podcast. It's about a creative journey and how you think. And he had a conversation with Ez Devlin, who did The Sphere. Do you know The Sphere? It's like it's a big installation in Vegas where it's completely circular and there's no like straight lines. Anyway, she's a very, very interesting person. And that's the podcast I'm listening to, but I have to get the name for you.
Fine.
Something Rubin, I think his name is. But those are the things I recommend.
Eyes of the Skin. Okay, Parker.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Tracy.
Thanks
for giving us the insight so hot off the press.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.